Hey, Natsu here. Today I'm going to do part 1 of what if Deku was a Titan shifter. In the last part I explained that Bakugo got 1 for all. I didn't say the amount of power he can use behind it, which he can use about 10 to 12%. Normally I go up to 20, but basically 20 is the max that he can go. Just on the urge of breaking, so he doesn't use it that much. All three of Deku, Shiro, and Ochako have a huge amount of strength in them. Firstly, because, well, thanks to their regeneration, they can train a lot better. Since they break their muscle, it heals instantly, so they can push themselves even further. Yes, it exhausts them, but at least they basically don't have to wait like too much before they have an increased strength. So they're pretty strong physically. Basically, they would be on the verge of superhuman, for what we call it. Basically, they have enough strength to lift around 150 pounds easily. Like, pretty much the weight of an well, for each arm, I mean. So yeah, they pretty much have a lot of strength thanks to that. Because yeah, like I said, Deku still kept training compared to the original, since he still wanted to at least have a good place in society where he could still be the hero of someone, even if he isn't actually a hero. So he was already pretty strong, like physically stronger than than Bakugo already. The only reason Bakugo was stronger was because of the quirk that he had. For the other two, it was more that they basically trained a lot more physically, basically overdoing it like Deku did in the original. But it still helped them increase their strength. So, yeah. In their Titan form, yeah, they're pretty freaking strong. Like, Deku could probably do the same thing for the boulder that Eren moved, while having less strain on his Titan form, because in this one, well, the physical body of the user actually enhanced the Titan as well. So physical strength that Deku takes basically increases the Titan form even more. So he's pretty darn strong. Until it is shown that it wasn't just a anime moment to make him look more powerful. I won't give him the form where he is burning, basically, for good reasons. Basically, he's already strong, probably the strongest in all three of them. Since he has the Titan Crystal, he was trained by the oldest one of them, who basically had the most training with them, well, with the power. Shiro's teacher basically was kind of laid back more, so he basically only made him increase his strength and the control over the Titan form. He taught him how to use the Titan Crystal, but just basically like a um, how do you call that? Um, Basically, he just kind of taught the basics of it. He can use it, but he's not as well versed in it as Deku and Ochako. Ochako was mostly taught how to use that because it's the biggest asset of a Titan user. If they want to protect other people, basically make that and places it around or close someone to basically protect them. So she taught that mostly, as well as strength. So physically and well, just in total, Deku would be the strongest of all three. But if Ochako and Shiro placed themselves together, they would be able to beat him. Quite easily, in fact. Because two Titans against one is kind of hard. And Deku only trained to basically, well, trained to be able to use martial arts and stuff like that. But it's mostly in combat against one-on-one or against something smaller than him. So yeah. All three of them were explained about the 9 Titans and where it came from, so they know that there is a total of 9. They know that that if you eat one, you basically get the power. If you just get the spinal fluids of one of them, you get the power, they lose it instantly. They explain basically as well for the healing. Basically, even if half of your body is gone, as long as you have your heart, well, as long as your body can still continue for a while, basically you're going to recover fully. So yeah, pretty much you're unkillable unless you're killed. So yeah, well, not unless you're killed. There is many ways that could kill them, but like poisons, pretty sure it wouldn't affect them, thanks to the healing. Like I said in the last one, they probably cannot get sick at all. Like hell, pretty sure STDs or parasite would just be killed by it as well. No, I'm not saying he can fuck around, but yeah, he could. But no. I had I had 3 choices for the well, for the ship with Deku. Ochako, which I want to or put her with Shiro or Deku. If she goes with Shiro, Deku is or going to be with Tsuyu or with Momo. I haven't decided yet, but it won't really come in for now. So, okay. So the first moment that they arrive at the UA entrance exam, Deku doesn't fall. He's pretty intelligent, so the test, well, written test is pretty easy to pass. And in the assembly, he doesn't mumble. He does still talk the same way, except that he doesn't call on Deku. So after that, they go for the well, to kill the robots. Oh yeah, I should also say, they trained a huge amount, all of them, to basically be able to use the Titan, well, their Titan form for long periods of time. And Deku is the one that had, well, that is able to last the longest in it. He can go, if he wants, all the way up to 3 or 4 hours. Ochako only able to go all the way up to about 2.5. While Shiro, since his Titan also needs to make plates, and that it takes energy in that moment, can only go around 1 hour, well, just under 2 hours or just over that. Depends the day. But if we go and they have perfect the max amount of energy they have, um, the best physical condition in that moment and stuff like that. The highest that they could go is Deku around 4 hours 10 minutes, Ochako around 2 hours 35, and Shiro around 2 hours and 12, or something around those parts. So they can last long, like a huge amount of time. So it's not just like, okay, you transform and shit, you're out. It's you can last a long time. Things that can affect the amount of time they have is the damage they take while they are in the form. The while they are fighting can reduce that time as well because it takes energy. Um, Stuff like already being sleepy will affect it. Being hungry and stuff like that will basically reduce the time before you even transform. So yeah, right now all three of them are pretty well energized. I'm going to say Shiro is in another city. I think there were three of them. Um, Bakugo is alone, Deku and Ochako are in the same city, and Shiro is in another one. So the moment it starts, um, well, when it starts, they basically start running. Deku and Ochako are pretty fast, not Ida level fast, but normal human form, they're pretty fast. So they start running. Shiro, compared to what they decide to do, just transforms straight up and start breaking the hell out of robots in his Titan form. Which a lot of people basically realize that, oh shit, he has a transformation quirk. That's awesome! Basically, the Titan form they call, well, they have the same three classes, but they made a fourth classes that is basically Titan. They placed Mount Lady in that category, even though she's not a Titan, but basically she has the same capacity to grow a lot bigger. So quirk that are in that type, they place it in the Titan class. So body modification is one class that you could put Titans as well in that, but they made the other class because, okay, yeah, there's a specific group of people that can grow or that are just giant, so that's going to be the fourth class called Titan class. So yeah, Titan class is not the quirks that are the strongest, it's just basically quirk that makes you big, so that's where they placed it. So basically, okay, he has a Titan type quirk. Um, so he's getting a pretty well for points. Ochako and Deku basically not knowing each other or that they have Titan forms. Basically just keeps breaking robot naturally. Well, not breaking them really that easily, but still, like, going for the parts that are kind of easy to break or grabbing stuff and throwing it at them at a super great strength. Um, Sorry, where was I? Someone called me or something. Um, okay, yeah. After a while of just doing it like that, they were seeing that people were getting points easier than them. So they decided to actually go Titan form. Basically, they have the ring that Annie and the two others had. Basically, that they flick it, there's mm, a spike, and they punch themselves with it to transform. Basically, the two shifter that gave them the powers basically had those and gave it to them. So they basically do it at the same time, and people just see those two just transform and just starts breaking robots. Both of them see each other and they kind of just thinks, "Oh, another one," but don't really stop to talk about it and just fight. Nezu is impressed that, oh, there's three in the Titan class this year. That's impressive. But he knows that one of them, Ochako, is the new Titan shifter of the female Titan. Reason for that is that the hero that had it basically was friend with All Might. All Might didn't know about that power, but she knew about One for All. Nezu knew about both of them, and she told Nezu that she passed her quirk to a girl that's coming to UA. That hero that went, well, that stopped working isn't going to be in school. She just told Nezu that, yeah, there's going to be a Titan shifter. Nezu is impressed because, okay, yeah, there's her and there's two other Titan class. He doesn't know if those two are shifters. Well, actually, he only knows that she is that her quirk is called Titan Shift. He doesn't know if those two have the same thing, but yeah, they have. So he knows that the quirk can be passed. He doesn't know how many they are. That she didn't tell it. She just told him about her own. So after a while, he decided to unleash the zero, zero pointers, and Bakugo destroyed his, breaking his arm in the process, basically doing what Deku did, but just because he wanted to challenge himself and he kind of went too far. And Shiro was able to basically stop it and then make Titan Crystal to break it, which then made Nezu realize that, okay, yeah, he's a Titan. He seemed to have the same type of quirk as her. In the place for Deku and Ochako, both of them looked at each other and decided to just kind of nod, like, okay, yeah, we're taking that down, and just started running. Deku basically just rammed into the robots and just kind of started pushing back. Ochako started doing the same thing, and the robot wasn't able to advance. They were able to stop it. Compared to Shiro, who just basically started making Titan Crystal to just kind of stop it in his track. They decided to actually break it by starting to, well, firstly, they grabbed the wheels and started just kind of pushing them away from one another, which broke them apart and the giant robot fell. Then both of them made their fist into Titan Crystal and kind of just punched the head and started ripping it out. Which, if I will be right back, I'm going to show you the image. Can't find it, but basically the size of it, if you take the size of Izuku, which is 1.66 meter, and look at just the head of it, basically just the head is over 10 meter in itself, probably even over 15 meters. And the body of it is basically like 5 or 6 times that. So it's probably over 100-meter tall. So yes, bigger than the Colossal. And they were able to stop that by the two of them. Well, basically they were grabbing onto it and just pulling it apart, to be more precise, but still. So they're basically just as tall as the head. So when the head came crashing down towards them, they were easily able to break it. So basically they got points for just killing robots mostly. When it was over, they just kind of latched off of it, and the body was starting to disintegrate itself, because yes, that still happens the same way. There's the giant body left behind for about 5 to 10 minutes after they leave. Yeah, no, I know it's not that long, but it's still pretty long for something like that. So basically everyone is impressed mostly because of that their quirk. Both of them decided to, since Ochako wasn't hurt, and even if she was, she would heal in minutes. Um, so they basically just kind of started talking together while they were leaving, and he asked her if she was the successor of the um, giant hero Titania, because yeah, that's the name I decided to give her. Which she basically just blushes a bit and says, "Yeah, so you're the successor of who? Or did you have it at birth?" Since they got explained what it is and how it works. So he explained to her that the one that gave it to him was actually someone that didn't want to be a hero or something like that for a while. Well, he was a hero a long time ago, but he was retired for a while. He was basically close to dying of old age, so he was looking for a successor. Which she basically just says, yeah, well, Titania was just looking for a successor because she was quitting the hero business. So both of them kind of explain what they were able to do, which is the Titan form, Titan crystal, well, how good they are at it, basically. Which, while talking, she just gets that, okay, yeah, he would beat me easily if we fought. His ability with the Titan Crystal, well, in this one, I'm also switching a small thing. The better you are with the Titan Crystal, the stronger yours is. Most things can break them naturally anyway, but still someone with a better ability on the Titan Crystal will break yours easily. And that's basically it. And she knows that, okay, yeah, I trained a lot in that, and that's probably the only thing I have that's close to him. Like physical strength, the um, attack titan physically has enough strength to even just push back the leg of the colossal titan, because not Armin, but the guy that had it before that, basically was surprised that he was able to push the leg back. And the colossal is huge and freaking strong, so doing that is pretty freaking impressive. And the titans are able to lift a lot more than what their weight should be compared to their own size. So yeah, that colossal titan would be able to just lift up the robot over his head probably, even though it's many times bigger than it. But that's, well, not many times bigger, but a lot bigger. Only because of the strength that they have normally. And the titan, the attack titan, is the one that has a bigger strength to body ratio physically. Then you add that in this one, they can train to augment their body strength in Titan form. And yeah, you get something that's pretty freaking strong for Deku. So they separate. Shiro hears about the two other people that had Titan shifting power. Well, that were in the Titan class. Well, that had Titan type quirks. which, after hearing how it happened, and that, well, he knew that, okay, they were Titan shifters, he knows to keep it secret from those that shouldn't know it. So All Might doesn't even know about Titan shifters. Uh, He knows that there's a quirk called Titan Shift. He doesn't know that some people has it, but he doesn't know how many there are. He doesn't even know that the quirk can be passed down like his. And yeah, so later everyone get their letters. Um, they go back to school, and when Deku, when Deku arrives, he basically gets greeted by the exact same. Bakugo is on his with his feet on his table. Ida is messing with him. Bakugo sees Deku and basically just jump out of his chair and start walking towards Deku, grabbing him and telling him, "So you had a quirk all this time? And you're that strong? When you showed it at school, I thought you just got it. How the hell are you this strong with it?" Because yeah, remember, Deku basically jumped out of the window to show his silent form, but Bakugo didn't know how strong he was in it. And seeing that Deku got, well, almost the most points, like, he got less points than Shiro, but more points than Ochako, like 2 or 3 more points than her. The only reason Shiro had more points is because he went Titan form from the start. So yeah, then Shiro basically came to him and said, "We have close looking quirks. I'm really impressed. Mine activated around 10 or so months ago," which Deku basically grabbed his hand and said, "Yeah, same for me. That's impressive. So, what's your name?" Which Shiro responds, and then Ochako enters the class, and yeah, basically for a while they just talk. Bakugo's still angry in the background a bit, because, well, he knew Deku was strong physically, then out of nowhere he has a quirk. He doesn't know how strong the quirk is, he just knows that it's strong, but then, shit, it's able to do all of that. Yeah, it's kind of... he's mad at that. Then, Aizawa enters the class. The same thing happens. Then he tells them to put on their sports uniform. And then he tells them to come to the yard to basically do the tests. So, firstly, Bakugo throws the ball and has a huge amount more. Basically, he charged one for all at 10% and used his explosion at the same time, so it blasted over around 2 kilometers away, almost, because of that. Because, if I remember correctly, his explosion pushed him to like 700 meters or something. And thanks to the boost to his quirk from One For All, and then add on top of that One For All itself, yeah, he threw it far. Then, as I will explain about the quirk, the test, then someone says, "Oh, it's going to be fun," and then he says the same truth of, "I'm going to expel someone, the one that has the lowest score," so everyone is ready to do it. So, for every test all the way up to the ball throw, Deku doesn't use his Titan form because he is able to do it about 3 times in short succession without problem, but he still needs a bit of time to recharge. Ochako and Shiro only are able to use it about twice before the Titans become smaller and less usable. So they basically do the same thing. Physically, they're pretty good. For every test, basically, they rank pretty high. Um, long jump tests, um, like pretty much Deku's like in second or third place, only because Bakugo was able to push himself. I'm not sure if anyone would pass him on that, but yeah, basically he's pretty good. Grip test, the only person that's able to beat him is the multi-arm guy, Shota. Yeah, Shota, I think. I'm not sure. Well, doesn't matter. Um, Basically, he's physically stronger than Ochako and Shiro, so anything he does, they're just right behind. Side to side jump, he's pretty high, but not as high as Mineta. And the running test, the only person able to go in front of him is Ira and Bakugo because of the same reason as before, as well as because of One for All. So yeah. And now we get to the ball throw. Um, Deku, Ochaku, and Shiro are the last one to throw the balls. So everyone else basically get the same amount of points. And then we get to those three. They go Titan form. Deku basically throws the ball so far that it basically gets infinity because it's launched outside of the atmosphere. Ochaku gets the same thing, and yeah, same thing for Shiro. Because of the huge amount of power they have behind the Titan. So a small ball is pretty much nothing, they can throw it as far as they freaking want. So yeah. Basically, that just placed them really freaking high on that. With everyone just kind of realizing that, oh shit. Okay, be right back. So, yeah, basically, nobody got expelled. Um, All Might was still watching to see how Bakugo would do. And so, yeah, All Might basically did go ask Aizawa why he didn't expulse anyone, and basically saying that the kid um, with the balls on his head and the invisible girl are pretty weak looking, which and that normally Aizawa would have thrown them out easily in the second, which he decided to say that they all seem to have a promising future, mostly four of them. Which All Might said, yeah, mostly the three that are able to. Sorry, I had to pause. So like I was saying, All Might was just saying that, yeah, mostly the three who has Titan type, quirk are probably the strongest one there in the class, which I will accept because they didn't use their Titan form for every test, and probably only like one or two of them would have been hard for them to use that form to do. And that if they actually used them, they would have had one every one of them probably. So Aizawa doesn't know about One for All, so he doesn't really bother with that. But yeah, he is intrigued that All Might was watching, and he says that he was actually looking at those three because their quirks are pretty rare to see. Those that have Titan type quirk normally don't actually show them a lot at first, but they do a big impression because of them. But he looked in all of their files, and all three of them basically only got their power basically like between 10 and 11 months ago. That's when they awakened. So he wanted to see how good they were with them, which Aizawa was pretty much just thinking, it's true that it was weird, but those quirks are pretty good for them, and it seems to match their personality, so it's well. So yeah, I'm going to end it here. In the next part, I'm going to start with the hero versus villains, and yeah, so hope you liked it. If you have stuff that you don't like from this, or stuff that you're not certain about, just tell me in the comment section. I'm going to respond to your questions and stuff. I'm going to leave my Discord link in the comment section as well. So yeah, Natsu out.